Come and laugh at us every week. We're two fucking morons.
Okay, welcome to the Georg Rockall-Schmidt Show. Today we are joined with... fuck off. Okay, hello and welcome to the Georg Rockall-Schmidt Show. Today we are joined by special guest Ralph Ineson. What was he in? Fuck.
I was Damien. I was in The Witch, and I played Chris Finch in The Office. Hello, everybody. And I just want to say that Colorado is a fantastic place. Hello, everybody. It's not Chris Finch from The Office. Fooled you. Well, that's a minus 1,000 subscribers. I have a cold. That's the story this week. See you next time.
Yes, well, thank you very much for joining us, and yeah, stuff. Get better.
Are we still going with it? We'd get a lot more viewers if we had guest stars. Damien, if we got Johnny Depp on here, this podcast.
I totally agree.
It'd be as big as the biggest podcast there is. And do you know what the biggest podcast there is, Damien?
Go on.
I've no fucking idea. It's a dead format.
Click.
Yeah, everyone's doing streams now. Do you know who the biggest streamer is?
No, and I don't imagine you do either.
No, I mean, it's all fucking irrelevant, isn't it? It's kid stuff. It's bullshit.
Yeah, so I think it's a fantastic
welcome,
idea.
Everybody.
My only criticism is that you should have buried the lead a little bit more. Kind of, you shouldn't have confessed to being who you were so soon. Now we've kind of blown our load, and I don't think we've got much material left for this episode, despite our aforementioned topic from last week.
We certainly don't have anything about Flubber. What do you mean? I should have been like, hello. There. I tell you what, working with that Ralph Gervais, he was a lovely... Ralph Gervais, that's my guy's name. Okay, working with that Richard Gervais was very good. Was it really good? Oh, by the way, this is George, everybody. Hi, nice to meet you. Oh, yes, George, and I'm a big fan of you. You're great. Oh, well, that's very nice of you to say, Ralph. Yeah, oh, yeah. Would you... I have a daughter, George. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Ralph. I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
She died. Oh, my God, no.
What? So he was going to hook me up with his dead daughter?
Well, he might have been petitioning you to do the service or something like that. You are known for your oration.
You see, that's when we come out like, guys, you thought that voice was Chris Finch from The Office, Ralph Ineson. Actually, it was M. Night Shyamalan. What a twist.
Shyamalan.
The film is, would you like to marry my daughter? Not really. She's dead anyway. Wow.
Is this the movie poster? Is that the poster? Sorry.
Yeah.
Would you marry my daughter too? She's dead.
It's just white times on a black background. That's all it is.
And people think like this is like bizarre viral thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. And it's kind of, some people thought it was like a viral thing at first, but it does have like a studio name like listed at the bottom, kind of nodding towards the fact that it will in fact be a movie.
Everybody, just as you've waited for the pinnacle of my career, I've wasted a lot of somebody else's money. So I have a bit of a cold this week. That's it. Sorry about the podcast being late last week. I don't know if I should give an explanation because you'll come to expect one every time that it's late. But
answer for your crimes, man.
Usually the fucking reason is I've noticed that Thursday I tend to get quite drunk and I'm pretty fucking hungover on Friday and I can't be arsed. But this time it was a bit more legit. Damien got stuck in an airport for 2 days and you married Catherine Zeta-Jones or something to get out or something like that.
Yeah, there was no problem with the flight or anything. I just got stuck in a pet carrier. I was fucking around too much.
Well, saying that, you did once miss like a $1,000 flight because your girlfriend was in the bathroom doing her makeup. So anything could have happened. I don't know if we could put that in. I'm sorry. Maybe we'll just bleep out girlfriend. Maybe it could be like, what, his dog? His dog was doing her makeup?
Well,
okay.
I'm not going to get into it today, but I will touch on the story maybe next week, and I think I might do the audience the honor of giving it some context, and I might tell them that story as well.
Yeah, you said you didn't want to tell the story this week because we haven't made the details up yet.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't have any talent for writing, so it's even though it's going to be at best like 150 words, it's going to take me a week.
It's
a lot of panicking.
It's going to go through a number of drafts where you're like, well, this needs a bit more detail. So it's going to be like, I was waiting in a long queue, and then I got up to a shiny immigration stand and met a fat immigration officer who thoroughly asked me questions. What the fuck? That's like...
Is that me?
No, that's definitely
Is
me.
that, or is that on your end?
Yeah, it's on my end, yeah.
So,
Welcome to this week's episode of What Gets on My Tits. And what gets on my tits is drivers doing 3-point turns in the middle of the fucking road. I'm like, oi, no boy. My story this week, Damien, is the most boring story ever told. So settle in, children. I'll put the music from the Hovis ads on this or something. Ridley Scott, keeping it in film, keeping it related. This podcast is always relevant to the thing that we said we were talking about. Yes.
Yes, maybe 2 months ago, perhaps. I've lost my my notepad, so I don't know. It could be anything.
It's just an exploration into madness. So you will remember this. As I have said a long time ago, I've been trying to set up a website where the listener of this podcast, who isn't me, can go and download every episode for free without signing up for anything. They can just download it as an MP3. Because I know not everyone has iTunes or SoundCloud. I certainly am not someone who's inclined to sign up for something just to download one shit tin pot podcast, right? I'm not going to fucking ever get an iTunes account to download something, even if I do like it. So I thought I'd put everything in one place so people could download it. The website would be the podcast, and it would be a platform for me to, when I do it, sell my terribly pretentious, ne'er-do-well anthology of short stories that I'm working on that no one will like, and also have a page where all of the fan art can go, and stuff like that. And it's just going to be a kind of like, ooh, look at this, all in one place sort of website. And the website building company I was with before, when I had my own webpage, they charged me recently on a credit card that had expired for another 2 years of their business plan, right? And it was my fault. I'm not, hands up. I thought that because my credit card had expired, they couldn't do that, but they did. So I was in for $500 and I couldn't get out. So I thought, fuck, okay, well, I'll just use them. Rather than go with someone else, someone like Squarespace or Wix or something. I'll use this one in particular. And as you've seen before, it won't fucking upload anything. The server or whatever doesn't work. Do you remember when we were trying to upload the Boisterous Brothers, when we were doing that? Before we went onto SoundCloud to host the stuff, and I was trying to host it on my own website. And
and it was an absolute fucking arse.
It would get to 90% and reset. And I thought, well, okay, 2 years have passed. Maybe it's better. No. I can't upload 100 megabytes audio, right? And this is the bizarre thing, okay? I'm sorry, I did say this story was boring. Welcome to the Georg Rockall-Schmidt show. What are you expecting? The thing is, I emailed them and I said, listen, I've been trying to do this. I've tried different formats. I've tried different browsers. I've tried different computers. I've actually tried to do this in 3 different countries, and I've had the same problem. I want my money back. And do you know what happened? You'll never guess what they did.
They gave you your money back.
They gave me my money back.
Without any issue whatsoever.
Without any issue whatsoever. They wrote a 1-line response saying, we're very sorry that Weebly business plan hasn't fulfilled what you needed. Here's your money back. And that's brilliant. That's what I wanted. But in many ways, that's kind of worse, isn't it?
I don't know. I'd be quite perplexed by something like that. I'm just so used to issues like that always being a drawn-out affair, and in some cases,
seriously, absolute kudos to them for giving me my money back. And thank you, seriously. That because I was ready to fucking fight. Because but seriously, it's always a fight, isn't it? I'm not being I'm not like being full of bravura here, But I mean, seriously, it's when you want your money back and stuff like that, it's back and forth and back and forth. And have you tried this? Yes, I've already told you. I'm not an idiot. Yes, I've already done that. Yes, but they gave me my money back, and I think it's because it's a systemic problem.
Well, there you go. Well, that could be pretty telling of that. But yeah, no, that's good to kind of hear that. But I'd definitely be quite perplexed. It does seem so unusual.
So usually, dear listener, I cut this bit out, but usually in these podcasts, there's a bit where I say to Damien, I'm enjoying this conversation, but is any of this listenable?
And then we have like a heated back and forth. I always say it is. So today you're of the other persuasion. You're going to keep it all in.
Well, let me bring this back around to the matter at hand. I think that Flubber should be used to make a barrier between myself and the rest of fucking society.
Oh, very nice.
Because there's never going to be a good internet company. There's never going to be a good anything company that's bigger than 100 people. Because once people start to get, organised, once people start to exist in big organizations, they fuck things up. And they have to exist in big organizations. You know, I'm not mad. I don't want to be an anarcho fucking collective or something.
You sound a little bit mad. Just a bee's dick mad there, my friend.
I'm not one of these crazy people who's saying fucking death to society. That's mad. But what I am saying is society can leave me the fuck alone. You can do your own thing and rape each other in prisons where justice is being fulfilled and torture gorillas for medicine and drop crackers on floors in supermarkets and never pick them up. And I will live in the jungle, and you leave me the fuck alone. And my only thing with society is sometimes I'll come into the town to buy a new machete because I've broken mine on an explorer's skull.
Very nice. So what you're saying is like, I don't want to see society on an ash pile, Damien. But if I do, I wouldn't.
Well, I'm not saying I don't want
bat an eyelid.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I don't want to be the cause of that. I don't care. I don't care if society. I mean, that's the way it's going to end up there eventually, one day. You know, between now and 10,000 years.
You know, bravo. Well, I'd like to see it in my lifetime, but, you know, I understand that's greedy, Damien, and I don't want to come off as that selfish, and not least on the show, you know. Professional veneer. I've been saying this every week, Damien. We need professional veneer, and we don't have it. It's your fault. You're bringing us down. I'm trying to tell the story.
Damien, World War I was 100 years ago. There's only so much drama we can take. When you hear people say, the president's done this, oh, it's so backward, or the sea level's rising, or oh, the corporations own everything, and it's all getting worse. Atomic annihilation and AIDS, super AIDS, fucking Jedward, oh, it's all terrible, all true. but it's
still
fun
prevalent
to watch.
in your world?
It's not boring. What? Is Jedward still relevant?
Jedward still in your world, because I haven't heard that name in fucking years.
Do you know what? I was actually thinking of Logan Paul and Stanley Paul, or whatever the fucking guy's name is. Logan Paul and Leviticus Paul.
I would say that's quite a bit of jam there, George. You know what grinds my gears? Bro.
It wouldn't be the Space Jam website. Now I've got the Ren and Stimpy theme tune in my head. Bow, bala, bow. Which I think that theme tune also goes with Flubber. We've taken it back around. Very professional. Don't you dare say otherwise, Princess Diana. Do you have any idea? Do you have any fucking ideas for?
You know, emerging from the earth as we speak.
Okay, what I was going to say was she'd have still died in my fabulous Flubber utopia because she wasn't wearing
Fan
her
fiction.
She wasn't wearing her Flubber seatbelt. Basically,
So,
I think for safety reasons,
yeah, so
everything should be made of Flubber. I think the road should have been made of Flubber.
Right.
She'd have gone through the fucking Flubber windscreen and she'd have bounced around and be like, oh gosh. I hope this Muslim baby inside me is fine. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got to cut that out.
Oh dear.
So
On the knife's edge there.
I only found out the other day that iTunes has reviews. I didn't know this, and then there's only 3 on our podcast, and one of them says, like, if you're not offended by this at some point, you're not doing it right. And I thought, is this offensive? And then I cast my mind back to last week where I was thinking about who raped all the babies. And I thought, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it takes all sorts, but I feel like things that, you know, are offensive or that can be, I would perceive to be offensive or have the potential to be, have a certain degree of earnest with them. And I feel like this is just far too asinine and kind of slipshod
to be at all offensive.
For anyone to kind of perceive us trying to kind of, you know, incite some kind of hatred or hurt or anything like that. I thought it was kind of so asinine that it's completely innocuous. I would be very.
You mean really in our own way? It's not like It's not like we're saying, oh, this group are dickheads, or no, if you believe this, you're an idiot. It's really what we're saying is, come and laugh at us every week. We're two fucking morons. The two cunts.
Welcome to the two twats. It's me and that's him. Together we are the two twats.
That's gross.
That is funny. And also gross. Tune in next week for more twats.
Vicks Vapor
Next
Rub.
week on Twats.
That don't taste good. Fiber optics.
I think we should stop
that
ourselves
don't
here,
taste
'cause
good. Cheese. That does taste good. Flannel. No, that don't taste good.
Don't eat flannel then. Fucking hell. You twat. Oh, catchphrase. Catchphrase right there.
Really old water that you found in a water bottle by the side of a motorway, and you held it up to the light and you looked through it and you thought, oh, there's no particles in there, and you gave it a smell and it was all right, but you still tasted it. That don't taste nice.
No, it wouldn't taste nice.
Do you know what I fucking ate? I fucking ate warm water. I mean for drinking.
All right, you better have like at least 10 minutes of material there, because there was a lot of venom in that. Why don't you like warm water?
Because it's gross. That's gross. Because
It don't taste good. You twat.
Yeah, because it's always like warm water's like you're in a car and you're asleep, but it's not proper sleep. It's car sleep, and you wake up and you're like, oh, where's the water? It's like, oh, I think it's under the seat, and you get it, and you find it eventually, and it's all kind of sweaty. The bottle's all sweaty, and even though the water's untainted,
It's covered in piss.
it's somehow
Your
got
passenger
that
has a big smile on the face.
It's got that car smell. Eating in cars is just gross because you never get the car smell out of cars. It doesn't matter if they're 100 years old. They've always got this fucking horrible manufactured sort of odor to them. And just when I've eaten in cars, the actual act of it itself, the whole kind of motion of eating it over your own knees is fucking crazy anyway. But just the taste and like when you get into someone's car and you're kind of looking at the floor and it's like, oh, that's ketchup and that's baked beans. You got fucking baked beans on the floor, loose baked beans. It's just
I'm
it's
starting
just
to
wrong.
feel like
really.
you don't need me for this at all. I think you're just going to keep going on, aren't you?
This is welcome to George shouting down the microphone.
And I've got holes in my fucking socks, and this neighbour dog won't fucking shut up.
This neighbour dog. Like it sounds innocuous, but that is the most racist thing Damien's ever said.
Damien knows my neighbours. I think they're perfectly charming, but when he came to visit, he couldn't take their eyes off them. Such venom, such hatred.
He couldn't take their eyes off them. This is when we improve the podcast by having a super fucking cringy sketch where someone who kind of looks like Eminem says, "Have you ever never seen any white people before?" That's how that lyric goes.
and then, yeah, no, that was a spot on impression. And he gently kind of strokes his chin and takes another puff on his pipe.
On his peace pipe. That's what Eminem's all about. Harmony.
He's coming to his own in his middle age, and he's matured, like a fine cheese. He's very sensible these days.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about shoes.
Shoes or chews, like Chewits.
No, Chewits taste good. Shoes don't taste good. Shall I just call this episode
Shoes don't taste good.
What don't taste good?
That don't taste good.
Vicks Vapor Rub, it's good for your nose, but don't get it in your mouth. Public service announcements.
Welcome to the Georg Rockall-Schmidt Show. Today we're going to be workshopping catchphrases for the future of our podcast.
Today,
that don't taste good.
This podcast always gets out of my hands. And the more I think about this podcast, the more I realise, like, this isn't an absurdist, asinine venture into silliness. This isn't actually very lighthearted at all. What I've realised just now, in the last 5 minutes, is this is probably the most antisocial thing on the internet.
It could be up there, yeah. It is a continued list of things we hate or don't like.
Telecommunications,
of, really.
Fuck 'em. Society, fuck 'em.
Fuck.
All right, listen. I know there's a lot of people who listen to this who have busy, hectic lives, but I want you to experience this. I know this is going to be a bit of a chore. It's going to take time to draw a bath, But just try this to twist with your own melon. All right? Sit in a bath with a cup of tea, drink your tea as you're in the bath, and wait until the tea is colder than the bath. Just a little bit colder, just a little bit more lukewarm. It's rancid. It's rancid.
So what happens next? It starts with your feet melt off. Then you see all of your vital organs start seeping out through your shins. You didn't think it was possible, but you are melting internally.
Well,
there's nothing left. You are gunge.
You spill the tea in the bath, and then it's kind of like, fuck, but the bath just looks like tea. And then you kind of think, well, before I get out, shall I have a gulp?
Why not? Why ever not? And just before I get out, I'll have a quick piss. May as well. The water's muddied up. No one's going to know.
Jesus Christ. Do you remember...
I'm not saying sit in the bath, man. You stand up, take a step out, and you turn back round. God, man.
Do you think Cormac McCarthy ever gets called up by his editor, and his editor's like, hi, Cormy. I was just wondering, I'm just going through the book. Great work, by the way. I was just wondering, do we want to go with shat, or do we want to go with shitted? He shitted on his fingers. He shitted in his pants.
Because it's a better rhythm.
Shitted in the bushes.
It's for a better flow.
Shitted on the ants. Now you're listening to me talking about shit. You'll see me in a trance. I'm sorry, go on.
That's it, you're shitted.
I did a shit in Mexico. I did a shit in France. I did a shit in Constable. I did a shit in my pants. Where have your shit been?
Oh, for fuck's sakes. Oh, it's. I think the most terrible thing is that this is incredibly entertaining for me, and I part of me feels that I should stop enjoying things like this. I should be past this in my life, but it's far too satisfying.
Listen, let's just not be around the bush. We embraced this a while ago, didn't we? We embraced this. Do you remember when it was like, oh, let's have a laugh and say some silly stuff that's kind of to do with Phantom Menace and talk a bit about Phantom Menace? And do you remember when I would say things to you, Damien? But seriously, Damien, what do you think about this? Do you remember that? Why did we ever bother?
I remember
because
that.
We always knew it would become this. We're 40 minutes in now. I cannot think of a better time for a public service announcement than right in the fucking middle of a podcast. And I guess what we were going to say is Damien and I, in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months, are thinking of changing the podcast so that it isn't images of the same old fucking lava lamp, but instead it's going to be us on screen talking down a camera. I kind of want to save the fan art stuff for that so we can see your reaction. Because I've seen the stuff. I've seen the fan art stuff and you haven't.
Right, okay.
But, would you like to see one now or nah? Thank you to @SilNap for that on Twitter. That's pretty much exactly what I imagined. And yes. I mean, not only did you draw what we said, but you also drew it in the most terrifying way possible.
Yes, yeah, coiled as well. It looks like it's approaching you. That's quite terrifying.
If you believe in
Marvelous
multiple universes, if you believe in infinite parallel dimensions, then there's an infinite amount of universes where that thing exists.
And is the top of the food chain, no less. They're not very large, but you don't fuck with them.
Also, Brent tweeted to me, I'm watching my son play with Lego, imagining each block is a sentient being with locked-in syndrome. It's bleak. Very, very bleak. Thanks, Brent.
No, thank you.
We're glad to be the light in your week, too.
Yeah, I'm kind of aghast that, I've never considered, well, not just anyone, but a parent. Yeah. I mean, that's someone that's responsible for shaping another human being's life. And I just feel like they should be more responsible than to listen to this. Jesus.
Yeah, you could look at it like that, or maybe Brent's a liar.
I mean, I might be one to cover my tracks a little bit if it came to kind of being upfront about whether or not I play with Lego. I might invent a fantasy child.
What, with Lego?
I definitely. No, fabrication just for the story. I would use it as a ruse, so I would not have to admit the fact that I'm an adult playing with toys.
Well, now that you've said that, and I've got this lovely husky voice, I can say the knobbly bits. I don't think so. I think Brent is a responsible adult and everything, but please don't let your children or any elderly or any pets be in the room while you're listening to this. Even if you're listening with earphones.
Yeah, it's not something you can.
You can't risk any leakage.
Yeah, just keep.
Probably you shouldn't listen to this. I edit these every week, and I'm sure that it is sending me mad.
Yeah, what I don't realise, because you're doing this, we're working kind of abroad from each other, is that while you record this, you are actually stood stark fucking naked in front of a floor-standing mirror.
So seriously, do you want to talk about Flubber?
Hang on.
Flubber sounds like something that Bill Cosby would say. Flubber-dub.
Flubber-dub. Flubber-dub-dub-dub.
Excuse me. It's like...
I think we should work on our Cosbys a little bit.
Well, it's like, can we mention a famous sexual predator? We can, then we've done it. That's that checkbox marked. See you next time.
Join us next week where we'll be discussing who's rapier, Bill Cosby or Kevin Spacey.
Well, I think it's Kevin Spacey.
Who would win in a rape-off?
I think Bill. All
right, I can see how that's in bad taste.
I think Bill Cosby doesn't know arse from tit right now. To be honest. So yeah, Kevin Spacey. But Bill Cosby in his prime, I don't know. It's anybody's game.
All right, prime Cosby.
I think Kevin Spacey's...
that's not a phrase I really wanted to ever say.
Kevin Spacey's there. He's got his fucking truncheon ready. He's ready to batter down Bill Cosby's door. He's got his latex gloves on. He's got his visor on. He's filled himself with Viagra. He's like kicks Cosby's door down. He's like, right, I'm going to show him who's the raper. And then he's like, what's this? A glass of orange juice? Well, I'll drink this orange juice just before I go upstairs to rape Bill Cosby.
And then he
just wakes up in Bill Cosby's arms. And Bill Cosby looks at him and he just says, "Don't fuck with the king."
Looks down. Two of Cosby's fingers are in Kevin Spacey's ass.
See you next week.
Credits. Yeah, as long as they kind of inflict their own evil and sickness upon each other, it's fine. If we can get this rape we can jam it into a little rape bubble, it's fine.
Well, it was never like, who can beat up more school kids? Is it going to be Rocky or is it going to be Apollo Creed?
Join us the week after.
That's not how boxing is. You've got to face them off against each other, haven't you? What a fucking dark world we live in. I genuinely think that the mission of this podcast, if I do say so myself, I think that the mission of this podcast isn't to make the world brighter. It's to show that it's dark, but hey, we're laughing at it. Do you know what they could use Flubber for? I was thinking about this. You know what they could use Flubber for?
Go on.
They could use it for fillings. So
no, that'd be ridiculous.
No. Yeah, because listen to me.
I'm seriously.
Right, you close your jaw and immediately you break your fucking head because it just snaps all the way back like a snake. It just kills you immediately. It just breaks your neck. I don't know why. I don't know why it just seems. Yeah.
I would imagine the procedure of getting in would kind of have fatal consequences from that point. I mean, as soon as you get it into place and you try to drill it in, I mean, surely it's just going to fly out the back of the patient's skull like a bullet.
I mean, we kind of hit the nail on the head last week. Whenever they get a new kind of silicon, it's always like, oh, this is a new kind of silicon.
Let's fuck it.
How can we make dildos out of it? This is from Stuart Sock. Well, Stuart Sock, the UN has been on the line, and yes, it is.
And just for clarification, we will assemble a brain trust, and we'll get back to you with our findings next week.
A brain trust?
Yeah, I tell you, when I went to New York, and I kind of punched in at the hotel, I got the laptop out and I just checked a few things and I opened up Skype and I hadn't spoken for the better part of the week, and the first thing I see is that picture of these, of most of that after a week, and I instantly coiled up. Damn, that, like my stomach almost shot straight out the top of my head.
It's like looking at that, it's not so much like, oh, looking at that, I realise I'm not a gay guy. It's more like, looking at that, I realise I'm not a sexual person. Looking at that, I realise I'm not going to have any sort of dong movement for the rest of my life. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks very much for listening, guys, and thank you very much for the really bizarre, crazy, and actually frighteningly well done fan art. We will go through it all on an episode in the future, and like I say, when I set my website up, it will go onto the website, unless someone writes to me and says they don't want that, where people will be able to peruse it until the end of time, or until I stop paying for the website and I become a homeless person. Next week, we're going to be talking about YouTube drama we'd like to see. Don't worry, we're not actually going to talk about any drama. I couldn't give a fuck about any of that. It's just going to be bullshit. It's just going to be, what if Kevin Spacey teabagged Logan Paul? Innit?
Yeah, innit. That
be
don't
fair.
taste good.
Don't
Yeah.
even...
Don't even teabag. Not on live YouTube.
That Stanley Paul, he don't taste good. I think that all 8,000 regular listeners or whatever it is, I think that they're 8,000 people who are stuck in the same internment camp somewhere, the same FEMA camp.